It's an uncommon here, Modern Master, so the value will crash totally on online, and I'm thinking about values online. In paper, it could be a value card. I don't know how the paper prices will be, so I don't deal in paper cards anymore. But online, this card will be worth very little. And I think you are playing this as your 23rd card. It'll be a high pick maybe in third booster, absolutely. Yeah, I'm saying 5th to 7th pick early. If you know you're going Sunburst or Tricolor. But in a 2-color deck, what do you do to play this? I don't think you are playing this. I'm saying it's a 9th to 11th pick in a 2-color deck. It still ramps you, so it still enables playing maybe your 4-4-4-5 in on turn 4. Anyway, I don't think we need to dwell on the card. This card will be picked up by the guys that plays the 3-color decks. So you're not going to see it in your 2-color deck. Arcbound Stinger! 1/1 flyer with modular. A 1/1 flyer for 2 is horrible, but modular is not horrible. Let's see what we said back in the day. We said a lot, actually. Yeah, you need a lot of artifact issues. How many do you need? Let's say you have half, so you're saying like 7 artifact creatures in your deck. So how big is the chance that you really get to use this then? Quite good. In a 7 artifact creature deck, I would be happy, but the effect is actually quite small. Let's see what they said back in Mirrodin. Flying was a stronger ability in Mirrodin because of all the equipment. I'm thinking this is almost all of the time worse than a bear, or maybe on the level of a bear. But wouldn't you rather get a 2/2 on the ground than this guy? So he says 6th to 8th pick at best. I will probably breathe a sigh of relief when this guy is played on turn 2. 49 flyers. It has to be an artifact creature that gets the counter, so Kitchen Finks can't get it. Wanderer is a lot better card, isn't it? Maybe not a lot. In the Sunburst deck. So you have to be the Sunburst artifact deck to play the Wanderer. Maybe that's what blue-green is about. Ramp Sunburst. Modular. Sounds very hard to do. Okay, let's look at the Mirrodin stuff then and see what we said about Arcbound Wanderer, if this is a Mirrodin card. 6 mana for 5/5 is pretty sad, really. And even if you get the modular thing, it's like a Terrace Worm, isn't it? At least in the region of a Terrace Worm. And Terrace Worm wasn't very happy. Well, we had that as a 5th to 7th pick. But that was in Mirrodin when you have a lot of artifacts, guys. And you don't have that here. don't know about the 3-color decks. Oh, is there really support for 3-color decks in this set? There is some, but there's not a lot. And 3-color decks are... Yeah, I never played the 5-4-4-6 in M13. Never played him. In 100 M13 drafts, I never ever had that at my 33rd card. And I won a very huge amount of those drafts. Doubling season! Yahoo! Yeah, you can get the 3rd color and then you have a 3-3-4-6. It's just really unexciting. I think at best this can fill the slot that the 5-6-4 had in M13. Doubling season is a rare, right? Modular is definitely a thing, but let those guys have it. And I think it's a 7th to 9th pick. Even if you have like 3 artifact guys and you sometimes get the modular here and you can play him as a 3-3, it's not unplayable, but he's fairly close. But here they are. What about the worker? It's pretty much the same. If you can use the modular, okay, the worker was just too small even in Mirrodin. He was a 9th to 11th pick in Mirrodin itself, and it should be worse here. So he is straight unplayable. Because if you don't get the modular, he's worse than a basic land. You don't want to play 1-1 for 1. Yeah, I think doubling season modular, it will happen someday, but yeah, I don't think we need to care a lot about that. So let's look at Glacial Ray, which is a very strong card, right? This is the card you want in your arcane deck. Yeah, someone will try and cry about doubling season. That's probably correct. Is Glacial Ray just a fantastic removal? Yeah, it is. So I'm just copying the review here. It says that it's insane in blue, red, blah, 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 really good. And at worst, it's a shock. So yeah, I'm first picking this in red, and that means that if you listen to episode 2 of this, we actually reason ourselves into why Lightning Helix is not the first pick, because it locks you in white-red. But this card doesn't lock you in anything except red, and it can even be splashed. So you're just taking this, and if you don't have any arcane cards, you're just happily playing your shock all day. I'm writing the article as we speak, that's why I am writing stuff off screen. Glacial Ray, first to third pick then. And I just managed to screw up my Ravnica document. So I just got complaints earlier because I covered the card. So the request earlier was to show the card. Zero pick this if you can, yes. Glacial Ray, play all day. We don't dwell on those cards because they're easy. But what about the Hillcomber Giant? This reminds me of Mountain Jetty in Masters Edition draft, and Mountain Jetty was a very high pick. A 3/3 Landwalker is often game. And against other decks he's a Hill Giant, which is a 5th to 7th pick. It costs one more white, but it's still exactly like Mountain Jetty. The question is, Masters Edition draft is slower than this. I think this is definitely higher than 5th pick. If it didn't have Mountain Walk and cost 1 and 3 green, it's a 5th to 7th pick. Don't underestimate the Hill Giants. But this is so much more. And there are also the giant synergies then. That they built into this. And I think Ninja Epidemic, you are onto something here. Red will be a common color. Think about all the Sunburst stuff, and there will be some red in a lot of decks. So on the average, there's red in 40% of decks. And in this set, there might be red in more. Say it's red in 55% of decks. So in half your matches, this card is a bomb. I think a 3/3 unblockable creature for 4 is a bomb. And this guy is one in half your matches. So I think you need to pick him highly. Very much like Mountain Jetty in Med 1 drafts. Okay, my new compromise is writing, saying what I'm writing. And this guy is hardly relevant ever. If you cast him on turn 4, he's great. If you cast him when you're winning, he's great. If you cast him when you're on the defensive, he's also good. Yeah, in Dragon's Maze Draft, most players are running 3 colors, but this will not happen in Modern Masters. I think 2-color decks will be the best decks, as in any format that don't have excessive mana fixing and a lot of gold cards. And there are some people saying that even in Dragon's Maze Draft, 2-color decks are really the nuts. But this guy is always good. On parity, he's good. Even if the opponent is not playing red, this is something you don't feel too bad about playing on parity. So I think this is a really good card. This is a card that's good all of the time. Almost. And a cult card. And if you listen to Limited Resources, the last 2 episodes, 184 and 185, you can find it on mtgcast.com. Brian Wong has been talking a lot about Limited, and he is a pure Limited genius and he can really express himself. And I learned a lot just from these 2 last episodes. And this is the kind of card he wants. And I'm picking this guy 2nd to 4th pick. And I'm gonna win plenty of games by him. So let's move over to the Amru Seekers. This is a Grey Ogre that is sometimes unblockable. Almost smells like a sideboard card. Because you're not happy playing Grey Ogres in Modern Masters Limited. They can be searched for, which is of course the rebel thing. So let's look at what Jeroen says about them back in the day. And my brain is getting confused, so I forgot. Amru Seekers. They are middle of the road picks. Best common target for the scout. Pick them highly. That's pretty much summarizes everything, right? You're on time spiral. That comment. So are you picking this hoping to find the seekers, or are you only picking this if you have the seekers already? Because if you have the seekers, the searchers for rebels, then this of course will be picked a lot higher. But let's assume that you don't have it. Is it a bear? Is it better than a bear? Would you rather he was just 2 mana for 2/2? But this ability must be relevant quite a bit. And when it's relevant, it's pretty relevant. Is it a 5th to 7th pick? It's a lot higher if you have the searchers. Okay, he will be blocked. That means that he is a 5th to 7th pick then. And of course affinity is around. This will work much less than 2/3 of the time, right? So if 40% of decks are white, maybe 20% have... So more than half of the decks will be able to block him. But he is very strong if they can't block him. But I think it's more decks than that can really block him. So I'm placing him as a 5th to 7th pick. Unless you have the searchers. That's true, your deck is one of the 3 or 4 white decks. I will try to keep going for another 4-5 minutes. Or until I finish. Reach through mists. Looks like a very nice card to have in the arcane deck. Like the bread and butter of it. And it's never a dead card. Cycling for 1 mana, how good is that? Worse than land cycling, I think. You get your bombs quicker, you can spice on it. Spice. You can splice on it. It looks pretty good. Let's see what we said back in Kamigawa. Great name for a card as well. A lot of cards mention it. In Kamigawa it was a 5th to 7th pick. And I am comfortable having it on that level. And of course, if you are already the arcane deck, you will not think about it. You'll pick this a lot higher, but it will not be very hard to pick it. But in a vacuum, 5th to 7th pick, never a dead card. Oh, I'm comfortable with that. Let's look at Thundering Giant. It's a 4/3 for 5, and being a 4/3 for 5 costing double mana is a lot worse than being a 4/4 for 5 costing 1. But it has haste, and it's a giant. How much does that help? Thundering Giant. What do you think about him? What did people think about him? It's Lorvin or something similar to that. It's Ursa Saga! Wow! Do I have a 10th edition limited review document? Maybe I do. No, I do not. But this guy should play about the same as he played in 10th edition. Because this set is rather corsetty. But it's more QB. Decent, yeah. It's a bit meh. It's like a card that you will play, and it will be your 5-drop, you will cast it, it will hit people. I'm thinking pretty much Hill Giant level, 5th to 7th pick. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Tell me, what do you think about Thundering Giant? You think meh. Unexciting. And you're right. This is a green flyer. It's a green 3/3 flyer for 5. That sounds very good to me. And it also has Suspend. That's pretty good. That's what... Wow, that's really what green wants, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 3/3 flyer for 1G, but it comes into play on turn 6. If you cast it during development, if you cast it when you're ahead or on the defensive or in parity, it's a 5-mana 3/3. And it's hasty on turn 6. That's true. I am thinking this is a card that wins limited games. But how high do you pick him? You don't want multiples. You do want 2, but you don't want 3. Most fairies and rogues have 3 power, is that so? That actually reduces this its usefulness. Very relevant point, Karosh. You go straight into the article. Thank you for writing my article. Sadly, I'm not paid for it. So I'll take any help I can get. Giant Dust Wasp. Well, it will never be relevant, will it? I'm already at the 3rd to 5th pick level, but can you pick this higher than that? Or is it just the 3rd to 5th pick? Or is it a higher pick because it's because of Suspend, because of that it's in the wrong color? Or in the right color? No higher. I don't think it's 4th to 6th pick. I think flying will be quite relevant in this format. So I am happy placing it as a 3rd to 5th pick. But I'll note your opinion, Carlos, because I might just be wrong. Let's move on to this giant guy. Wow. Hammerheim Deadeye. It's a hill giant with echo, not exciting, but it destroys target creature with flying. So that means that you can sometimes side this out, but you will definitely main deck him. What about flying in this format, as we just talked about? How relevant is flying? Because this is a lot of value. Is it really a lot of value? You're paying 8 mana over 2 turns. And I'm thinking about Echo in a positive light because I played Echo in Urza Saga Limited, which is really slow. And this is of course 49 cards with the keyword flying, thank you. Hammerheim Deadeye sounds like a really bad metal band. Or is it just a sideboard card? Is this a sideboard card you bring in against flyer decks, or will every deck have flying, or at least half the decks have flying? And then you can sideboard him out. But he's close to sideboard level, right? It was so sweet to destroy a giant dust wasp with this guy. So what are you saying, Token Licker? You're saying that he is in the sideboard, he'll come in only if they have important flyers. I would bring him in if they have just had a lot of flyers. But if he's a sideboard card, and then he's at the like 7th to 9th pick level, because he's a pretty good sideboard card. But you're not main decking this guy, are you? That makes him even lower, actually. So 9th to 11th pick is a sideboard card. So none of you are main decking this guy. That's bad news for Hammerheim Deadeye, and I'm placing him as an 8th to 10th pick. Yeah, I might be too positive about Echo because of the Urza Saga thing. And that was a reason to. Urza Saga was drafted in Christmas, during Christmas. Hey, Veteran Armor tries to get reviewed again, but we are not letting him do that. Thieving Sprite, 1/1 flyer for 3. That discards a card. This is pretty much like the Dragon's Maze guy. Right? How good was that? I'm trying to conceal to you the fact that I have played only 2 Dragon's Maze drafts, so I am not an authority on that format. What about this Sprite? 3rd to 5th pick in Faeries. You always get to discard a card, even if this is the only card you play, the fairy you have in play, and you get to discard a land for your opponent. It's quite good. 3rd to 5th pick in Faeries sounds reasonable to me. I would definitely play this outside of Faeries as well. But I wouldn't pick it very high. Maybe 7th, 9th pick. Not Faeries. Of course, there's a lot of best case scenario things that could happen with this guy. But the body is very relevant. Let's move on to Greater Moss Dog then. What do you think of the Greater Moss Dog? It's a hill giant in green, and green is not very excited about hill giants, but he has a Dredge tree. So he will be quite good in the Dredge deck. Discard is somewhat relevant. Of course, if you are top decking Thieving Sprite late and he doesn't have any cards in his hand, it's horrible. What about Greater Moss Dog? If you're not the Dredge deck, you can draw this over a random card. And a hill giant is a lot better than a random card in most decks. So that means he's good. Let's look at the old Ravnica review and see what we said about him there. If he is from Ravnica. Yeah, he is. I was thinking he was like time shifted. Well, they say it's a 4-6 pick. So that's an upgrade for the hill giant, and all about the Dredge. Unspectacular. And I'll remove my Swedish comment here. And I think, yeah, he's a 4-6 pick. Sounds good to me. Raven's Crime's card I recently played in Modern in the Mono Black Infect deck, but how good is Raven's Crime in Limited? You will use Retrace pretty late. And when you're using Retrace for discard, it doesn't hit anything, as they can see it coming a mile away. So, and if you top deck this late, it doesn't do anything. If you play it on turn 1, it just really doesn't do anything. Your opponent loses a card, but you lose a card, and you have to pay the mana for it. I'm not thinking this is playable. Would you play Raven's Crime? Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't like combat tricks. It could pull out a combat trick, yes. Maybe 1/5, 1/4 of the time. And that's a lot of times that this card will be dead and you wish it would be anything. I'm thinking unplayable too. It's great in Mono Black Infect in Modern. But then you can abuse, you can hit the Tron decks with it and stuff, so it's really fun. But if you have a counterside crusher, yeah. But it doesn't apply any pressure. If you are top decking this and you're winning, it doesn't do anything. If you're top decking this, you're on the defensive, it doesn't do anything. If you're in parity, it does something if it has a combat trick. But it's more than half of the time this card is absolutely dead and it's a mulligan. And you don't want to play cards like that. That's the way you lose limited games. Way too irrelevant. Way too often. Maybe it's a sideboard card against control decks. That will put it at the 9th to 11th pick. Nah. Not too excited. 10th to 12th pick for Raven's Crime. And we move on to Erratic Mutation. But it's not you. Raven's Crime Retrace is great because it makes you use your unneeded land, but it doesn't have any effect. Mutation looks decent. Choose target creature. So you don't know how big it will be. And the cards go to the bottom of your library. And it probably kills a 2 toughness creature. But killing a 2 toughness creature for 3 mana, that's pretty good. We rated the other card, the black card, quite highly that could do this. I think we need to look at what the ancients have to say. Back in the day of Erratic Mutation, what did people think? Not running any 2 mana cards is probably a good way to lose limited games. Because 2 drops are very important in almost all limited formats. It is random, but it's quite easy to control. And even if you have like 3 1-drops in your deck, it's like 85% certain to hit lane. And it's blue. It's blue removal. Dr. Chunk is the authority here. Blue is lacking permanent removal. Never use it on your own creature, of course. Most people's cards in limited start at 2. Blue removal at the premium. It's instant speed. It's bad if you're getting beaten down by 3 4/4s. But being able to kill something with 2 toughness at instant speed, it's just amazing in blue, isn't it? I'm third picking this. I'm placing this as 3rd to 5th pick. Why would it be sorcery removal? It's instant speed. And I'm thinking 2 toughness creatures. Maybe sometimes you'll be able to kill a 3 toughness creature if you really need to. But not more than that. But anything that removes a 2 toughness creature for 3 mana quite reliably is to me a 3rd to 5th pick. If it can be done at instant speed. And some of the blue decks will be crying for removal. And Erratic Mutation will step up and be the removal you want. We're thinking that we have so few 1-drops that we can reliably make it a 2-drop. Well, what 1-drops do you want to play in this set? There are not too many. Yeah, it has a combat trick effect as well. That only puts it higher. I'm counting it as hard removal for 2 toughness creatures. And if it reveals a land, it will just go on, so it can never be 0. Is there a way to put the card on top of your library in this set? Magi and Shock are 1 mana spells, which is a lot better than this. You never lose 2 cards. You are looking at cards in your library, you're not drawing them. So you could, academically, if you have a 1-drop, which I don't know what that would be in this set even, in your blue deck. Oh, it could be like Peer Through Depths. You could lose Erratic Mutation for nothing. But that won't happen more than like 15% of the time. If you're not building to make Erratic Mutation. This is common. You could have multiples of this and build for it. 1-drop artifacts, but they are not very good. Bone Splitter, of course. But I think you can make the adjustments here. I like this card. And I am prepared to move on to the next card, which is Death Rattle. And I like removal in limited. Removal is great, combat tricks are not great. And this is Dark Banishing. And how reliable, Dark Banishing is the first to third pick in limited. And how reliable is this Dark Banishing? That's my question. I have no experience playing in Delve in limited. Oh, it's target non-green creature. I was thinking non-black. Non-green is worse, right? Because you are black. But even if it said destroy target non-green creature, can't be regenerated, and cost 3, I would first pick it. So the question is, how reliable is this? And we have to look at an old review. It's from Modern Masters. It's from Future Sight. Future Sight limited review, black. I'm thinking first to third pick for this card. No, it's this thing again. Future Sight in limited, maybe. How good is Delve? Circumstantial but powerful is Death Rattle. That's... Is it really circumstantial? Maybe at the beginning of the game it will be impossible to cast. And you will be beaten down by a fast start, and you will sit there with your Death Rattle in hand and just cry. Because you don't have no cards in your graveyard. Of course, if you are Dredge, this is definitely first pick, but you don't have to be a scientist to know that. I think you're right, Karosh. I think it's a second to fourth pick. First pick in Dredge. And if you ever run into the mono green deck, you can just sideboard it out. Let's talk about Flicker Wisp. We now have 20 minutes to go. And I realized that I won't finish, so there will be a 5th part to this series. You can find the first part on mtgostrat.com. That's my webpage. We are about 8 guys writing about Magic here. Time to advertise. So here is the old article. I didn't get Twitch to function yesterday, so the part 3 is a very short YouTube movie. mtgostrat.com, check it out. This will be an article there where the discussion will continue. It will also be a video on YouTube. I run the YouTube channel called MagicGatheringStrat. We are 6 video makers on it, and it has 10 times the number of subscribers as this channel on Twitch. So check that out too. And let's talk about Flicker Wisp. It's a 3/1 flyer for 3. I am very interested already. And it does flicker something on your side. So if you have any And enter the battlefield effect, the value just goes through the roof. Is this a common? No, it's an uncommon. It seems to be pretty insane, yes. I didn't play during Eventide, but I kind of feel like I know this card. I doubt it's a real bomb. I'm thinking first to third pick, but it's still conditional, right? You still need to have an enter the battlefield effect card on the battlefield to get the real value of it. But being a 3/1 flyer in itself is pretty much a 35th pick. Oh, you can reset a land, yeah, to get an extra mana, meaning that it costs really 2. You will not feel bad first picking it. He says. Who says? Ljug. So first pick. First pack. Are we picking this over Lightning Helix? Because this is pretty much the same thing as Lightning. This will lock you in white, but Lightning Helix would lock you in white-red. It's a hard commit, yes. And are you really prepared to commit to white this hard for this card? Well, I'm thinking you're right there, Karos. And even if we are committed to white in the first pick, we still have a choice for our second color. And we will be able to pick up a lot of enter the battlefield stuff and value it a little bit higher in the future. So we are first picking this guy. Okay, time for... well, you can exile opponent's permanent and leave the battlefield effects. That's true. Flicker Wisp enter the battlefield, exile another target permanent. So if he has a guy with enchantments on him, we get rid of the enchantment. If he has a guy with counters on him, we get rid of counters. We kill tokens. Whoa! Kills tokens, enchant auras. Value town. Okay, we are first to third picking. Yeah, you told me it is a bomb. It's not a bomb, but it's a first to third pick. There is a level above it. There is a first pick bomb level, but I'm not comfortable putting Flicker Wisp there. That means you'll pick it over almost all the rares, and you're not doing that. So let's move over to this guy. It's a 4/4 for 5, but it's 2 green. And he makes everybody faster. He is pretty good in the Sapperling deck, but I am having doubts about the Sapperling deck. I'm thinking that you're really happy when you're playing against the Sapperling deck. of course this guy puts out a 1/1 every other turn by himself. That's good. It is good. And he's slow. Yeah, we clog the ground all day. Jamie Wakefield! Cool. We will not listen to him. Future Sight in Limited. Crap. Not a decent review. Jamie Wakefield was he was the biggest Timmy player ever, and he actually won big tournaments with Timmy decks. He's like the god of Timmys. But I think being the god of Timmys, he is really not the guy you want to listen to. Yeah, I like this guy. Sporloth Ancient. But how much do I like him? I'm thinking 3rd to 5th pick, but he's probably higher than that then. Where is he? Is this a 2nd pick? Sporoloth Ancient. Making a 1/1 every other turn is quite powerful. Amazing in the Sapling deck. And the Sapling deck has survivability, right? Because they have some life gain effects, maybe? He's definitely 3rd to 5th pick, but is he better than that? I'm saying he's 2nd to 4th pick in Saplings, and a 3rd to 5th pick otherwise. But I do fear that the Sapling deck is crazy bad. I think there's a delay for that Twitch delays videos longer the longer the video becomes. Okay, Sporloth Ancient is either a 3rd to 5th pick or a 2nd to 4th pick. He's somewhere around that range. Whoa! Horobis Whisper, pretty good. If you splice this, it's just incredible value. But even without the splice, I am playing this happily. It's close to murder. Maybe it's a 2nd to 4th pick in itself, but the splice into Arcane, yeah, makes it very easy to 1st pick. Yeah, being the only black Arcane is bad, but you could possibly play it in Faeries and have a peer to depth or something. There's like, it's incidental value, but in itself it's so powerful, so any incidental value is super good. Quality removal, I'd say. And I will happily 1st to 3rd pick it. Horobis Whisper, yeah, not Horobis Arcane. Yep, we don't need to think about quality removal a lot. We are moving on, thinking that one day we will be done with this. And it's time for the Marsh Flitter! This guy is doing stuff. He's going somewhere. 4 mana for a 1/1 flyer and a Krenkos command. And he becomes a 3/3 flyer if you sacrifice Goblin. And he came with Goblins. So in Goblins he will be quite good. Is he on the same level as a 3/3 flyer for 4? I don't think he is. He's worse than a 3/3 flyer for 4. Unless you really want to sacrifice Goblins for some other reason. Yeah, if you Flicker Wisp him, he's great, but yeah, it's really great with Flicker Wisp. You get a free Krenkos command. And we come back to the old question about 1/1s in this format. We don't really know how good they are yet. I'm thinking this is a 2nd to 4th pick. That is a little less than a straight 3/3 fly for 4, which would be a 1st pick. If it was a common, so you could get several of him. She, it, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty cute actually. I'll date the Marsh Flitter. Don't tell my wife. Alright, 2nd to 4th pick for the Marsh Flitter. And let's move on to this thing. What the hell is this? This will be the final card we review, and I think we need to talk about this. Here's a blue artifact 4/3 flyer for 3 mana that returns an artifact you control to its owner's hand. Okay, what kind of value can we get out of that? What artifact are you returning? You need some 1-mana artifacts to make it work, and that will be awesome. Returning Bone Splitter and then casting Bone Splitter and equipping Bone Splitter. That's like, what a monster! But can you get any value? Can you get the Enter the Battlefield effect? 100% value! That means that you have a lot of artifacts with Enter the Battlefield effect. But even if you only have, if you have a couple of 1-mana artifacts that you can return, you're pretty much paying 1 mana turn to keep this guy around. And he's definitely worth that. 4/3 flyer for 3 mana. That you need to pay 1 mana every turn. That's the 1st pick. I think this looks like a Time Spiral card or something like that. A Future Sight. It's from Conflux. Conflux. Blue cards. This looks like a bad review. King Nothing. Pretty good as a beating flyer in sealed, but Stone Cold Nuts in draft. Okay. I need a second opinion on this. Stone Cold Nuts is pretty hard, but I can see the way a 4/3 flyer for 3 wins games. There are 0 mana artifacts in the set, and that means when you have them, it's like almost broken. Hey, John Laux! Why didn't I see that? Hairstyle! Horrible! Wait for it. Ah, horrible hairstyle! Okay, let's go to the Espersoa. Yeah, you'll play Paradise Mantle all day when you have the Espersoa. 3 stars! That's not a bomb. I don't honestly see it working, says John Laux. Elsewhere Flask? Ah, maybe it didn't have the artifact support in Conflux that it needed. But now it does, because there is artifact support in this set. And they have created a limited monster. 5 common 1 mana artifacts. And the 0 mana artifacts, were they common? I'm putting your comments into the article token link. 1 uncommon, 2 rares, but 5 1 mana artifacts. Okay, say you have 4 1 mana artifacts in your deck. You will on the average have an artifact on turn 3. So that's too little. You will need 5 artifacts that cost less than the Esper Soa. But on the defensive, this guy comes down and can actually block very effectively for 3 mana. I just want to first pick this card, but I'm going to first pick this card. I'm grabbing this card, and then I'm trying to make it work, but I might fail. Sanctum Gargoyle for infinite recursion. Is Ethereum Sculptor in the set? We must have artifact support for sure, but I am getting my artifact support. The Ethereum Sculptor is in the set. And Sanctum Gargoyle was also in the set, right? That's a lot of value. Yeah, bouncing Sanctum Gargoyle. Yeah, I want to live the dream. I'll grab my Esper Soa and I'll downgrade it later when I've failed. But I'm going to try to live the dream. So, mtgostrat.com. Check it out. You should also check out our YouTube channel, which just reached 310 subscribers. Named the same thing as this channel. We are only 3 streamers, or 2 streamers so far. But we are 6 video makers on this channel. And we do a lot of drafts, we do a lot of Pauper, we do Modern, we do Standard. I'm also looking for video makers for the channel. I want more, especially for Return to Ravnica block, for Limited and for Standard. I'm gonna have to run off. It's 9:30 in the morning and I got stuff to do. Thank you for watching. If you think my accent is really weird, it's because I'm Swedish, so I speak like a drunken Viking. Hope you like this. There will be a 5th part sometimes before June the 14th, because that's when Modern Masters hits. I'm really upset at the price of the Modern Master drafts, but I will do at least 2 for the YouTube channel. But then the value just is not there, I think, so I'm disappointed at the high cost. I will do a 64-person draft and I will do a Swiss draft. Thank you for watching. Signing off.